This is my Kindle and this is Dune. Goodreads stated that Dune is the best-selling science fiction novel of all time. So I bought it and I began reading. But what does this mean? And this? Or what about this? I didn't understand so many words. I powered through this entire so-called 13-hour book so slow that I could feel myself aging. The book includes a terminology of the Imperium section at the end, but it's really impractical to refer to it every time you encounter an unfamiliar word. As I teach you how you can solve this issue, you'll learn what to expect as you read this fantastic work of art, Dune. This book, Dune, is based off of a really good idea that has made it an evergreen read. So Dune is loved by so many people, not just in the science fiction genre, but it is loved by people from many other genres as well. So first, let's understand what Dune is. Dune is a story of Paul Atreides, whose family accepted the fief of a planet named Arrakis. Arrakis is the only source of a spice named melange. I will not say further because I want you to read this wonderful story of love, hatred, greed, power, and a complex maze of politics. The effort that Frank Herbert put into this book, the research that he did to write it, is clearly evident as you read it. Dune stands out from many other science fiction novels in aspects that I really did not think about before reading Dune. Dune has aspects like religion, godly beliefs, prophecy type thingies, ecology, and economic control. Such things are rarely explored or even thought of in many science fiction books, in my opinion. Dune is a really unique and engrossing read. Dune's world is really unique and distinctive. So there are these people named Freemen who live on Arrakis who are the locals of the place. Dune also talks about the major flaws of being a human, flaws that we may never overcome. Greed, for money, for fame, for power. But each and every cut in this book is filled with such rich and flavorful descriptions that just don't make you experience the book, but they make you inhabit the book. Of course, I have to admit the amount of description crossed the limit many times, overwhelming the story and the happenings at the moment. But if you're a person who really likes such vivid descriptions, then you will like the journey of Dune. Understanding characters in Dune take time and sometimes it's taxing on your mind. So if you're looking for a lighter read, there are better books out there. But definitely try Dune as your next read, and I'll tell you why. Many of the characters in Dune can only be understood by their dialogue because the descriptions accompanying these dialogues are not quite illuminating about the character. Often you'll find yourself analyzing the dialogue of a character to find more clues about their personality. Now, let's talk about the pacing of the book. So the pacing in Dune is really uneven and some parts of the book move faster than the others and thus are more enjoyable. But in the areas where Dune moves pretty slowly, it's actually not that interesting and thus not the best book in terms of pacing. However, in Dune, it's really difficult to predict what is going to happen next, which makes the book much more captivating and most of the time you're wondering what is going to happen next. I will be rating Dune based on these factors: idea and plot, characters, the narrative of the story, the really unique Dune world, themes and messages, and then I'm going to provide the overall rating of Dune. Idea and plot. The idea behind Dune is a really strong one and it's a really unique one. The plot is also pretty interesting and thus it gets a 10 on 10. Characters. Like I said, understanding some of the characters in Dune is a real pain in the rear end. A solid 8 out of 10 for the characters because some of the characters are really unforgettable and the characters really stay with you for a really long time after you read the book. You'll be thinking about their personality, their character, what would I have done in certain situations. It's really interesting. Next, we have the narrative. So Dune has a really strong idea behind it. It has a really great plot, but when these things are not really conveyed in a proper way, when the story is not properly told, it just doesn't feel right. It just feels like if the same plot and ideas were given to another person, the story would have turned out in a much more fluent manner, and that is what I have to say about the narrative. Unfortunately, it gets a 4 out of 10. Next comes my favorite part about Dune, the unique Dune world. Understanding the world of Dune is a challenge, but so is understanding the world of Harry Potter. I know I should not be comparing the two, but if you understand the world of Dune, you get to grasp what Dune has to truly offer. Next, we have the themes and messages that Dune conveys to the reader. This is probably why Dune is such an evergreen read, that even though it was written in 1965, it still does not feel that out of date today. Dune delves into the depths of many themes, like the profound impact of corruption. Spoiler alert, Dune also talks about themes like economic control. For example, the house that has control over Arrakis has greater control over the economy than any other house because spice has demand. Now, finally, let's talk about the overall rating that I give to Dune. I give it a solid 8 out of 10. If you haven't read Dune yet, I would definitely suggest that you read it. Let's come back to my journey of reading Dune. I picked up Dune many times in a span of 2 to 3 weeks and began reading the first 2 to 3 chapters. The problem was I was not understanding so many words. I back then did not know that there was a terminology section at the end, that there was a whole different Dune world. So I was pretty uneducated about Dune. But I had to power through the book, and then I realized that powering through the book in such a way gives you a totally different experience, because until you reach the 5th or 6th chapter, you really won't understand what most of those terms are. However, reading Dune in such a manner is not a fun task. So if you are on the physical copy of Dune, just quickly refer to the terminology section, whereas if you're on the Kindle, then you can go to the website that I've linked down in the description and you can search for the word there. It's going to be a much faster experience, trust me. If this video has helped, don't forget to like and also share this video with your friends or your reading buddies who might find this useful. Thank you and see you in the next one. Bye.